Hey, good afternoon and good morning to everybody. I hope everybody is doing well. I wanted to jump on here today to keep this thing going, to keep the conversation going, and I hope everybody is having a good time. I hope everybody's staying warm. I know we got some reported snow flurries back home in Alabama, and we're supposed to get some snow later on here today. So the temperatures are dropping, so hope everybody's being warm, being safe, and not only being warm and being safe, but being cautious and being careful. Down south, we don't typically get a lot of snow and ice, and people start to panic buying up all of the milk and the water and all the other things. But just wanted everybody to be safe. But man, I wanted to come back on here today and continue with the conscious efforts of raising awareness back home. And have the discussion. Discussion is, so what's the real cost of repairs for Perry County Jail? Really just have that discussion, because it is critical to highlight, and it's critical to show the community, to show people with facts, to show people with videos, to show people with receipts of what these elected officials say, the words that they say, right? So we can hold them accountable to the words that they say, because for far too long, they have gotten so comfortable with just saying stuff and getting away with saying stuff because nobody has held them accountable to what they say, right? And that is what is going on. That's what I'm going to show today, and just with my continued efforts to service the community and raise awareness. Because, see, the thing about raising awareness and the thing about this, right, is one of the things when you're advocating for change is not going to happen overnight. Change will never happen overnight. Especially the reason why change won't ever happen overnight is because people don't want those that are in power don't want to relinquish that. They don't want to relinquish that sense of power. They don't want to make the changes happen. They don't want people to know if they are doing something wrong. They don't want the people to understand or have evidence or facts. And they don't like people talking about the facts. They enjoy controlling the narrative. They enjoy putting information out there to manipulate the people so the people don't know. And that's what they do, right? And what I have committed myself to doing is just showing the people the patterns, showing the people the truth, showing people the facts that you can actually verify and you can see for themselves, and even showing straight from the horse's mouth on what they say, and then providing tangible proof that what they say was misleading or wrong according to the policies, according to state laws, according to rules and regulations, right? That is what I've been doing, right? And I know a lot of people upset about it. That's their problem. That's their problem. These elected officials are for too long have gotten so comfortable with just saying anything and not having anybody follow up on it. And that's just what it is. And the question today is, so what's the real cost of repairs for the Perry County Jail? Now, one of the main reasons why I'm bringing this up is because what it seems to be is, it seems to be a play. It seems to be a play for mismanagement. And this is what I mean by that, right? I was on the other day, I think yesterday, yeah, and I talked about how back in September, Perry County Commissioner Chairman Albert Fitzgerald Turner announced on the 22nd of September, that he announced that he was ordering the jail to be closed for repairs due to the inmate breaking out. And he said the initial estimates was $1,500. And he said that the repairs will be done within a week. A week later, on the 29th of September, Sheriff Fite sent a letter to the Perry County Commission saying that he was closing the jail due to a number of safety issues, right? And it was the commission responsibility to maintain and provide a facility, to maintain the jail and provide maintenance to it. And he said he was going to request a jail architect to come in and inspect, to give recommendations to make improvements to the jail. Why? Because the constructions of that jail was not done up to code. It just wasn't. Now you rewind that back back in 2021, Governor Kay Ivey, I shared this before and I can go show it again because it's on my page. It was a letter from the office of the governor that was given to Perry County, awarding them $200,000 as part of the COVID money for them to retrofit the jail for COVID treatment areas, COVID isolation areas, right? There's no proof of that being done. There's also video of Chairman Turner that was stated that during the state of the county address that I will show, of him just saying that just because there ain't COVID written on the front of it don't mean that those rooms wasn't done. But the rooms he's referencing in the jail is the same isolation room that they had for intake that they had in there for all along. There's no evidence of any work being done on any ventilation system, anything being done to upgrade that back for the money that they got, that $200,000. And what he also said during the state of the county address, he also said that they gave $50,000 of that money back, which there's no proof that they gave it back, because also there's valid proof that the commission voted to do a change document because they spent more money. See, and this is why I'm bringing this up, and I'm gonna go into the details, but this is why I'm bringing this up now. On the 25th of January of this year, they Chairman Albert Fitzgerald Turner had he had the state of the county address, and it was hosted by Sunshine Media Group. And in that state of the county address, he mentioned that the commission spent $86,000 on repairs to the jail. That is what he said. He said that, and guess what? We're going to go watch the video so everybody can see it, so you can hear it straight from the horse's mouth. Not mine. You can hear straight from his mouth of what he said. Now, the math that he said in there don't add up, because he said that they were going to spend an additional $6,000 to $8,000 on top of the $86,000. But then he said that were going to come out about $88,000. Now, I know me, basic arithmetic. If you already spent $86,000 and you spending $6,000 to $8,000 more, that would be $92,000 to $94,000, not $88,000. But I think that he misspoke when he said that. But we're going to go to the actual video so you can hear it for yourself. Hear exactly what he said, and then also hear his statements about basically me when he talking about people don't know the complexities of government and they got a political agenda. There's no political agenda about facts, providing facts. There's no political agenda about asking questions. It is not political to hold an elected official accountable to the words that they say. You will see firsthand the propaganda in which he does all of the time, trying to spin and control the narrative. What he does not like is the fact that I'm showing the community firsthand what his tactics is. It's driving him insane. It's driving him insane. You know why? Because somebody is exposing the manipulative tactics that he's used for years and years. And he has yet to dispute anything that I said. Only thing he does is provide insult. So let's go to the actual video. Let's go to the video. Let me see if I got it. Let me unmute myself. And let me go here. Here you go.
Jail's been closed. We spent $86,000 on plumbing, lighting, and electrical. I talked with the contractor on last week. He said that one thing that he noted we have to do is put a door up in the attic. So we're going to expend that money. So at the end of the day, we may be out on another $6,000, $7,000, but that'll bring that total to about $89,000.
Now y'all heard he just said they spent 86. Then he came back and said they may be out another $6,000, $7,000. Now I know 86,000 plus 6,000 or 7,000 don't equal 88, but I just wanted to highlight that he may have misspoken on that. But we keep going.
That wasn't budgeted. That came out, that money had to come out of our reserve funds that we had to do some other things. Just the other day, had to spend $49,000 on a gas truck so that you could take fuel to the equipment while I was out on the road. That wasn't expected, but because we had good management resources, we were able to go and pay cash and get a $49,000 truck. Now we're coming up to the gasoline pumps, $44,000 for a pump system. All right, we have the money because we have good management. We can go and get the pump system. So, people who don't understand government, people who don't understand what actually goes on, and who have their own political agenda, try to make people that know better think differently. And my thing is clear, is that and I'm probably the most targeted county official in the state of Alabama. I've been indictments thrown out at me, that be thrown back at the ones that brought because they had no evidence. Ethics Commission, they filed Ethics Commission charges on them, they need to drop it. It's not because I got friends in places, although I do have friends in other places. It's because you got to have evidence, and something has to have occurred for you to be found guilty. And when Republicans are dismissing charges, because Democrats who bought them are bogus charges, I can't help that. But that's just par for the course. You just take that and you keep moving. Nothing's going to stop. I don't care about the investigations because
they're running from anything.
Why is nothing wrong from them? One thing my daddy taught me is keep my hand. Don't you put your hands on them folks' money. I don't care. Although county government, Perry County, is majority African American, money in this county still belongs to us. We spend it, but it don't belong to us.
Y'all heard straight from the horse's mouth. Straight from the horse's mouth. You know what's funny throughout all of that is I'm curious to I want y'all to hear what he's trying to say. Somebody providing the community with facts, with actual facts that they can see for themselves, with references to Alabama law and to what the rules and processes are, who is explaining things to where people can understand it, has a political agenda. But this same individual who's been elected for 25 years don't have the time to explain it to the people. And because somebody who has a political agenda to show the people the actual truth, the actual facts, is trying to change people that know better. Think about that. Just sit down and think about it. Think about what he said and all of that stuff he said. And we're gonna talk about what he said about the quote about what his daddy told him. But the funny thing that was very, very, very funny to me was the arrogance of him to even mention, I'm the most targeted county official in the state of Alabama. That's not a flex, guy. It's a reason why. Right? He said, not because I got friends in high places. No, that's what it is. It is alleged that people have been helping you out at the state level. If people be honest and ask about, hey, if you guys think I'm joking, if the people back home go outside of Perry County and ask people about Albert Turner, you will hear what the truth is of what people think about him. You will hear the truth that a lot of people don't even want to associate with Perry County because he's connected to it. That Perry County does not have a good reputation because of Albert Turner. And those are facts. Those are facts. And he stayed connected to the people like Bobby Singleton and other people that he's connected to. Those are the people that he run to for protection. The thing is, what he is afraid of is most of the time, the evidence are only hearsay. They are not provided any actual factual evidence. That's why it is imperative on the community to start requesting records for contract, for bids, for contracts, for all of this stuff. Listen, I'm telling you, the evidence is there. And Albert knows it because most of the stuff that he has said that they did, there's no records to support it. And when it's dealing with grant money, they have to provide those receipts. So that is why he's trying to do this, because he is deadly afraid of the people waking up and started to request this public information, which is by the Alabama Open Records Act. It is required for them to provide it. And I'm going to tell you, when the community starts, what he's going to do is he's going to ask those clerks to slow drag it so that he can feel like he can buy himself time. And guess what? They will be held accountable to it as well. Because Alabama law, they have a certain amount of time to provide that information. And once you get that information, once you get those bids, once you get who the contractor was, once you get those amounts, and we start lining that thing up with what he said that was paid, that's the evidence that he's afraid of. I'm just telling people that right now. He's so used to going unchallenged. He's so used to the people not knowing what the processes are. That's why he is afraid. That's why he hadn't been talking. That's why he hadn't been posting. That's why he been quiet. That's the reason why. Because he hates that an informed community is a powerful community. All of that stuff that propaganda that he put out like he for the community. That man only does stuff that benefits himself. If he's so for the community, I want him, because I know he gonna see this. He probably watching right now. But if he's so powerful, if he's so well connected, and if there's so much nepotism, like somebody said that I got of him, why won't he go on his page and say, community, this is how you can request public information through the county? I can 100% guarantee that he won't. You know why? He hates accountability. But let's go on. Let's keep talking. Let's keep talking. This is what I posted a few hours ago, and I asked the question, so what's the real cost of the Perry County Jail? And this is why I did it. On January 25th, Chairman Albert Fitzgerald Turner gave a State of the County address hosted by Sunshine Media Group. During this address, he said, we have spent $86,000 for repairs to the jail, and we'll spend about $88,000 total when done. Now, y'all saw that. Y'all saw it just like when we saw the video. On January the 29th, 2026, Chairman Albert Fitzgerald Turner called WSFA 12 News to request a report titled, Perry County Jail Closed for Months After Inmates Escape. Repairs Force Temporary Furloughs. In this article, he said, so far, Perry County has spent $98,000 in cash from the county's general funds on repairs. Officials now estimate total costs could reach between $200,000 and $250,000 before the jail can reopen. Right? Now, how do we go from $1,500 in September to him going on the State of the County address saying $86,000, to him a couple days later telling the news in the news article that they spent $98,000 and repairs may be up to $250,000, when they already got $200,000 in 2021 and $600,000 in 2022 to make upgrades to the jail, and it's clear evidence that they didn't do it. See, this is what people do. I'm throwing all these numbers out there so that I can say we're spending all this money, but nobody asks questions, and there's no open bids. There's nothing that the community can see. It's just all claims of it. See, that's how allegedly misappropriation get done. Now, it's funny that Albert said that what his dad had told him, that don't mess with the money, don't put your hands in the people's money. But Albert, my question to you with that is, if your father gave you that advice to not put your hands in the people's money, then why don't you show the people how the money is being spent? Why don't you show receipts? Why don't you do that, Albert? Why do you just throw figures out there? Why do you just want people to trust you? You're not trustworthy. Of all people, you're not trustworthy. Why? Because I have clearly shown how you lie and how you just put out false information and misinformation every day. I've done it for 90 straight days. And there's way more stuff to do. You're not trustworthy. Nobody can believe your word on what you say. No, you're not. As a public official, there has yet to be a time where I have found where you've been completely transparent. What you typically do is you would announce, hey, we doing a renovation. We got this grant money. We doing a renovation. This how much it costs. This how much the grant money costs. But you don't see no line by line. You don't see that. You don't see it. You just go to the meeting and you had you thought you had 2 people that were going to vote with you on everything so you can push stuff through. And you just throw stuff out. And then now you're frustrated, Albert, because commissioners are asking questions. Commissioners are asking questions, as they should have already been doing. And that's what it is. And the reality is, you're upset now. You are upset now. And that's what led to you doing that video. I believe that's what led to you doing that video on your page the other day, sharing that video, and you intentionally put Carlton Lewis in there about 4 or 5 times at the beginning. Because you thought you had Carlton in your corner because you advocated for Carlton and you supported Carlton to get voted into that seat. So, Albert, you thought that Carlton and Commissioner Lewis and Commissioner Hiles were the 2 commissioners that you advocated for District 4 and District 5 to remove Commissioner Eaton and Commissioner Hudson out of those seats. And you thought that they were going to support everything that you put forward. Now, Commissioner Hiles has supported everything, but Commissioner Lewis has been standing on his own 2 feet, and it's been pissing you off. It's been pissing you off, and your switch up was this. See, Albert, I've been following you for a long time. See, yet you forget. Yet you try to make it like it was just recently. Bro, I've been giving you that smoke for the last 5, 6 years, bro. And the thing that I've noticed is Commissioner Long and Commissioner Harrison used to always vote with you. But then right before the election in 2024, there was a shift and they voted you out as chairman. And ever since then, you had a vendetta. You've had a vendetta. That's why you had a temper tantrum and you didn't go to the last 2 or 3 commissioner meetings until after the election when you got in and you got Commissioner Hiles and Commissioner Lewis to vote you back in as chairman. Now, Albert, if they was doing you said they was rotating as chairman like you claimed before, why would you go back to be chairman when you was chairman before in 2024? They just removed you for a couple of months and put Commissioner Harrison in there. Why would you go back and then get 2 new ones that you supported? Why would you try to go back then and get them to vote you as chairman? Now, I just want to I want to make this. The chairman is a made up, you chair the meetings. It's not an elevated position. You get a little extra money. Whoop, they do. You still only 1/5 of the votes. You still only 20% of the total votes. And see, Albert, I'm letting the people know they play those 3-2 games. The majority vote on the commission. If I can get 2 people with me, then I can manipulate it and make it work like I want to. But at the end of the day, the people need to start asking themselves, like really start asking themselves, ain't nowhere in the world the jail, Perry County Jail, with the original price tag of $2.3 million, with them getting $800,000 in the last 5 years to do upgrades, there's no way that jail should need any repairs to it. None. But to look at the state that the jail in, that ain't got nothing to do with Sheriff Fikes. That was a neglect wholeheartedly. And like I showed yesterday, I showed that in 2020, December 2020, the fire marshal came down, and the fire marshal, they had 16 violations then. And when they called the sheriff said, Sheriff Billy Jones said at the time that he informed the commission, and they said that they had other repairs that was there. See, that was all an attempt to control the narrative, to try to make the conditions of the jail reflect on Sheriff Roy Fikes. Albert, it's not working, bro. It's not working. If you're gonna be a man of integrity, you got to come out and say, my ace boon coon, Sheriff Billy Fikes, was the sheriff when these conditions was there. But you're not gonna do that. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your time, energy, and effort to try to manipulate the people and let me call the news station and fabricate a story to spin a narrative. Shame on you, man. Shame on you. Why won't you just tell the truth? You know what the funny thing between me and you, Albert? I haven't had to call anybody or do anything because I've been sharing facts and truth. And when you deal with facts and truth, you can stand on that. You don't need nothing else to stand on. And guess what, Albert? It still has endured. Guess what? You still haven't provided, you or your supporters still haven't provided any tangible proof that I have lied or misspoken. And I'm standing on that. Like Mary had a little lamb. Tell the truth. Tell the truth, Albert. Come back and tell the truth. Hey, community, there's no furlough. I made that up. There's no furlough. There will be no furlough because the furlough is on the decision of Sheriff Roy Fikes, not the commission. Tell the people the truth about the cost of the repairs. Is it $86,000? Because that's where you asked at the last meeting that you asked the commission to vote on, not $98,000 or $200,000 or $250,000. Albert, who is the contractors for that? Because the commission hadn't voted on contractors. They voted on the first contractor that come in to do the initial $1,500 repairs. Where's it at, Albert? Where are the invoices at? Let the people see. Now, this is another thing. This is another thing that I want the community to recognize. Let me see if I can go to it. Let me see, can I pull it up? Going to the good infamous Perry County website. Going to the Perry County website, and I'm going over here. Y'all know I'm about to type in, like I always do, budget. Once I get the budget, I'm going to go where they say annual budget. Click on annual budget. Right? And with the annual budget, I'm going to scroll down. And I'm going to go to general funds. I'm going to general funds. I'm going to blow this up so everybody can see it. Right? So, I guess, as you see, the fund balance, I guess they got $222,566. I am guessing that is what he's talking about, the reserve fund. As you see that, right? That's the reserve fund. Now, that is very important. Why? I'm finna show you guys why that's important. I'm going back to my post. I'm going back to my post, and I'm going to go to question number 4. Question number 4. Chairman Albert Fitzgerald Turner said that the county spent $49,000 on a fuel truck and $44,000 on a new new pump system at the highway department. Now, he said that they spent that out of reserve funds. He also said that they spent the repairs for the jail out of reserve funds because it wasn't budgeted. Now, let me pull up the calculator and let's just do some simple basic math. 49,000 plus 44,000 plus 86,000 equals 179,000. Now, y'all see that 179,000. Now I'm gonna go here 222,566. Let me go back to the calculator. Let me copy this. 222,556 minus, let me see what is 170. Okay. All right, there we go. Okay. All right, so $222,556 minus $179,000. So that means that they already spent $43,556, right? Y'all see that? $43,556. Now you say, Robert, why is that important? That is very important because the the Barnett King Center, the old National Guard Army grant is a reimbursable grant. And I went over that yesterday, but a reimbursable the difference between an upfront grant and a reimbursable grant is an upfront grant. They provide you all of the funding up front. A reimbursable grant is you got to pay for the stuff yourself and then you'll be reimbursed for it. So with Perry County only having $43,556, I wonder how they gonna pay for the repairs for the Barnett King Center. I wonder how they gonna pay for the repairs. How? Where's that money coming from, Albert? You see how you like to throw numbers out there? You see what somebody can do that can do basic math? Are you going to allegedly find funding that's hidden in alleged bank accounts that other people don't know about? That's where you're going to find the $500,000 to pay for the updates to the Barnett King Center? Or is this another grant that we're not going to be able to pull down because we're not going to pay for the money up front because we don't have the funds to do it? You see what I'm saying? Y'all see, I just want people to just see. Let me go to the capital budget for Perry County Commission. And they are, okay, look. I want to show you guys so y'all can see it. So right here, this is, I don't know how you're going to, he said this is a budget. But he said, I want y'all to see this, right? He got $300,000 for the renovation of the Richard Avery Courthouse Annex. I'm curious to see what that actual bill going to be. Because, see, this is what he does. He throw these numbers out there. They're supposed to be renovating it right now. Supposed to be done within a month or two. The people need to see who did that, right? Who did that? And we need to see what the contract is. And this is where the community needs to come in there. We need people in the community to go and request what the contract was and what the final cost of that. So we can see if it was close to $300,000 and we can see what the itemized list is on there. Right? Are they just inflating the cost so somebody can get kickbacks? What they allegedly do. The Perry County Courthouse, they saying they got $40,000 set aside for air conditioning unit for the upstairs jury room and offices. They said they had $15,000 for the Albert Turner Senior Courthouse Annex, upgrade to sound system, speakers and microphones. They had $25,000 for the James Hood Detention Center, replacing the kitchen air conditioning unit at the facility. Perry County Courthouse, another $20,000 for handrails for the employees' entrance for the east and west entrances, a total of $400,000. And this is where he said he got revenue from. So he took $110,000 of the landfill tipping fees to put it there. He said the capital improvement fund, I don't know what that is. He's the capital improvement fund from 2024, then the capital improvement fund for 2025. I don't know how you got $290,000 there, but that's what he's saying, and that's what he said the balance is zero. Now, my question is this. How can the balance be zero when the work ain't even completed? How can the balance be zero when the work have not been completed? I know we got probably some certified public accountants out there. Can you, how can you reconcile without money actually being spent or completed? Because you can't. That right there is just a projection. None of these are completed yet. So how do you know that it's complete? But I just want to show y'all that's what he does. And then I blame the commissioners for it because y'all let him put that foolishness up there. Y'all let him put it up there. He just throws stuff on there. Stuff don't even make no sense. Don't even make no sense. It just don't make any sense. When y'all go and y'all start looking at this stuff, this is just stuff that throws up there, and he's been used to people not going in and taking a look at it. Not taking a look at it. And that's a sad reality, but that's just who he is. Right now, this is what I want to continue to go on. I'm gonna ask these questions, right? Number 2, during the speech, Chairman Turner shared something his father said. Don't put your hands in other people's money. The money is in this county, but still belongs to the people. Do you think Chairman Turner has followed that advice while being a commissioner for the past 25 years? Right. And the chairman also said he feels like he's the most picked on county official in the state. He said he isn't scared of an investigation because people need proof. And he has friends in high places. Do you think he acts like this? Do you think he acts like he can't be punished or held responsible? Now, I already asked question number 4, but the bottom line to that question, with them spending $49,000 and $44,000, does Perry County have software to track the gallons of fuel put into the trucks, or are they still writing everything down by hand? Now, why is that important? You know, in the military, we use a tracking system, right? We got a tracking system for our vehicles with a QR code. In the QR code, we used to have fuel cards. And you had to go up to the fuel station and they track how many gallons going to every vehicle. Why don't Perry County have it? Other counties have it. Why we still walk around with handwritten stuff? And I'm curious to understand how many gallons of fuel Albert Turner is doing driving around in his vehicle. Listen, the county commission is not a full-time position. It's a part-time position, right? There's no commissioner that should be driving around. It should be one truck for all the commissioners to share, right? That should be driving home. Should be your personal vehicle. Shouldn't be. And I'm curious to understand how much money the county is paying for gas just for Albert to ride around in them SUVs and them pickup trucks as gas guzzler and putting that on the people dying. The same people dying that he said his daddy said don't put his hand in don't put your hand in other people's money. But if you're driving around for personal use in a county vehicle, that is putting your hands in other people's money. That's what it is. Right? And then the last question that I have is, why doesn't Perry County have fuel system software to track how much fuel is used? And what are the commissioners going to do about it? How much gas does Albert put in the county vehicle he is driving around for his part-time position as the county commissioner? That's something that the commission can do. They can come in and say, hey, we're going to purchase this software and this is what we're going to implement. And everybody that get fuel, every vehicle, you got to type it in. You get each vehicle a number, and then each vehicle got to type in that number. And that's how you get it. You get every person a number, each vehicle number, where you can go back to it. And at the end of the year, you can get a roll-up. You can go in at any time and provide you that roll-up. You know, that's why people love paperwork, because when you digitize things, you can't easily go in and manipulate it. I can go in and write on anything. I can go give gas to my cousin. Hey man, come up here and fill your car up. You know what I'm talking about? And I can write it off on something else. But if there's a software in the digitized system, you can't do that. Right? And then when we start talking about vehicles and trucks, right? How much fuel do you need? Do you really need a whole fuel truck, or you just need a fuel trailer? Because you can get a 100-gallon tank and easily take that around. You don't need a whole fuel truck because it costs to fill that fuel truck up. I just want the community to see what it is. Now, Albert, if you definitely want to say that, dealing with fuel, resupply and all that, that's my specialty, my boy. That's what I do in the military, my boy. So since you say I don't know nothing about government and people don't know anything, that's my field of expertise. I can help you out with that if I know you're not going to accept it because you're too prideful to accept it. You're too prideful to have Private Powell, Sergeant Outsider, there's nobody that's outsider come and tell you how to do something that you don't know what to do. But I'm here to help, man. Reach out to me. Albert, you got my number because I text you. You never text me back. Give me a call so we can chat. But I mean, that right there is what it is. Now, I do want to say this. Yesterday, let me go to it. Let me see if I can pull it up. All right. Yesterday, the Francis Marion, the City of Marion, and the Perry County Board of Education celebrated Woody J. Jackson by naming the sports arena after him. They dedicated to him yesterday. Woody J. Jackson, Hall of Fame coach right there. And listen, I wanted to say that like very much deserving to name that gym, that facility, the Woody J. Jackson sports sports arena. And that was him with the members of the Board of Education. They did a ribbon cutting ceremony on that. When I say very much deserving. Listen, you can't talk about Alabama high school basketball without talking about Coach Mason and Coach Jackson. Two icons from Perry County that combined, you talking about what? 15, 16 state championships. And the thing that about yesterday, I watched the live broadcast of the dedication ceremony. The thing that stood out yesterday was the legacy of Coach Jackson. See, the thing about it, when you are about business and you genuinely care about people, what you pour into them will manifest itself, right? And you can tell everything that Coach Jackson did, he did it out of his love, right? He did it out of the love for those kids, out of the love for those communities. So I want to give a shout out to the people that made it happen. And when I say this with all disrespect. There should have never been any pushback to Coach Woody Jackson name, that sports complex being named after him. Never been. And I give a shout out to the community, to those people that went out and got those petitions and signed petitions, because a certain individual in Perry County wanted to name that after another family member who has multiple buildings already named after them. Shout out to them for doing the right goddamn thing, for the most deserving individual, for that to be that honor to be bestowed upon. Period. And I mean that with all disrespect. Because it's time out. There are so many people. There are so many pillars. Like Coach Jackson has impacted the lives of thousands of kids. thousands of kids. Because listen, I can go back to my coaches. I can go back to Coach Chris Smith, who was my junior high basketball coach that had a major impact on my life that I called him later to tell him that he did. I can tell you my high school football coach, Coach Jack Hazelridge, who had a major impact on my life, who's always called me Robert Shepard, 44. But those people had major impacts on my life. I know what coaches mean. I know you're a teacher, what a teacher being and the sacrifice that you're making. You ain't making all that money. You're sacrificing, you're pouring into these kids. You're advocating to change their lives. And to hear his former players speak about him yesterday, to hear people that played for him back at Westside High School before they combined the school, and for Coach Jackson to win a state title the first year after they combined East Perry and Westside and Francis, says a testament. And to go back to back to back with your rival being RC Hatch, and they win a state championship. So that's why I said nothing but deserving. And the community, man, I shout the community out on that. I shout y'all out on that because that right there is what it's all about. And me watching that made me feel very good yesterday. Because there's so many other people that's deserving to be recognized in the community. So many other people. So many other people. Like Perry County is the hotbed for civil rights. That could be the driving force of revenue in our community. But we got certain individuals who was only focused on their name and not what's best for the community. And they intentionally went about getting multiple things named after a family member when we had other people in the community who is just more deserving and could have brought more revenue so people to come down there and see it. But now, Shep, don't speak on that, Shep. Don't speak on that because now you talking about somebody. No, I'm not talking about it. This is not speaking ill will of anybody. But let's talk facts. Internationally, Coretta Scott King is known. Internationally, she is known. Marion, Alabama is the birthplace of Coretta Scott King. It is the place where Coretta Scott King and Martin Luther King got married. Why is Coretta Scott King sharing the name of the old National Guard Army when we got a school, when we got a post office, when we got an annex, when we got a gym, when we got all of this stuff named after one individual? Make it make sense. And I want the people to know the truth. This is no disrespect to the legacy of civil rights icon Robert Turner Sr. I mean, I'm not Robert Turner, but Albert Turner Sr. This is no disrespect. What I am speaking towards is the motive behind his son, who only motive was to push that name out there so he can benefit from it. Jimmy Lee Jackson gave his life, civil rights icon. Can't even get a highway named after himself. Think about that. They mentioned, in the feature film Selma, they had somebody playing Jimmy Lee Jackson. His name is known internationally. But he can't even give a county road named after him by himself. And y'all know I'm telling the truth. Y'all know I'm telling the truth. But for too long, the community stayed by quiet while allowing a certain individual to do their own will. Because I'm going to tell y'all where it really comes in at. It's all about a name. Why would you... Not even going to go there. I would just say this. Me and my father share the same name, but I'm not a junior. And you have never seen me say I'm Robert Shepard Jr. I never will, because I'm not. And for me to even suggest that says that I'm being misleading and deceptive. That's what that says. You know, think about it. If we had Coretta Scott King School, people want to come down and see Coretta Scott King School. Hey, this is the birthplace of Coretta Scott King. This is where she got married. Downtown, if you go downtown Augusta, Georgia, they got the birthplace of one of the presidents. Matter of fact, I'm gonna get his name. I don't want to misspoke because you know people like to say, "Well, he lied about that. He lied." U.S. presidents born in Augusta, Georgia. Woodrow Wilson. President Woodrow Wilson. His birthplace, his home, which is right here, right? This is home. That's in Augusta, Georgia. You see how it's preserved? Now, you go here. They got a website. Guess what? It's preserved. It's a museum. Guess what? Look, they charge people to come. Guess what? They make money. They generate revenue. Man, come on, man. Like, seriously. We sit in a hotbed, but because somebody's ego, we let people do whatever they want to do, and the people just remain quiet about it. That's why I commend the community for speaking up. Shouldn't even never had to get a petition done for it. But they did. And the people put their name on it. It's time for the community to wake up. It's time for the community to wake up. Matter of fact, let me do this. Let me do this. Y'all check this out. Civil rights pioneers from Perry County, Alabama. This one just came up, right? Perry County was a critical cradle of the civil rights movement, producing key leaders and martyrs in the fight for civil rights. Notable pioneers included Coretta Scott King, Albert Turner Sr., Jimmy Lee Jackson, Idella Jones Childs, and Evelyn Hatch Turner. Right? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And these two got things in Perry County named after them that are shared with somebody else. And I'm finna go out on the limb. Y'all look at the timing when the I want y'all to look at the timing of, if I'm not mistaken, matter of fact, I'm gonna go find it. I can go to my man page, Albert Turner. Go to his page so y'all can see it. Go to his page. Let me see if I can find it. See something pop up for Barnett King. All right. Y'all see this, right? March 2023. All right. Roy Barnett. His wife is the namesake of the building being named after Inez Barnett Coretta Scott King Center. His wife is the namesake that is on the Barnett King Center, right? Y'all see the time, right? 2023. Do y'all think that was a political move? Do you think Albert truly cared about Roy Barnett or Miss Barnett? Do you think he really cared about Miss Coretta Scott King to be honored? Or did you think that he did that to gain favor with the white community in Perry County? See, you got to ask yourself, what is it benefiting him? He don't do anything just out of the goodness of his heart. What does it politically benefit him in that? I just want people to just start asking yourself these questions. You know, everybody, you know, people have had their opinion about me and me doing what I'm doing. And, you know, they have the right to have that opinion. But when you sit down and you start asking yourself questions and actually use logic, you start to be like, yeah, he is logical. He's providing facts. That kind of makes sense. Why all of a sudden in 2023? Why all of a sudden in 2023 to name a building after honoring Inez Barnett and Coretta Scott King that you have already been promising 8 years prior that it was going to be remodeled and fixed, but nothing ever happened. And we still 3 years later, ain't nothing happened yet, but a lot of empty promises. How you going to honor the wife of Dr. Martin Luther King and the wife of Roy Barnett with a building that ain't nothing been done to it and ain't going to get done to it, but empty promises? How is that really honoring somebody? To name a decapitated building after them. And everybody says, well, you know, he showed respect. And you know that Robert Shepard dude, he just don't respect civil rights people. He don't. You know, he support MAGA. Yeah, that's what it is. He support MAGA and he support Jim Crow. Yeah, that's another one. That's a good one right there. That right there's a good one. No, I support honesty, integrity, and transparency. What was the real motive behind that? Why couldn't you just name that after Inez Barnett? Why you couldn't name that after Coretta Scott King? Why? And then you fast forward, you get Congresswoman Terry Sewell to get the post office named after his daddy. If Albert was so keen on civil rights restoration and so keen on raising tourism, he wouldn't have funded that $500,000 that they got to restore the county jail. He come give y'all an excuse. But he would have made sure it happened. But he didn't. You know why? He probably couldn't get nobody to allegedly play the game with him. That's why he's trying to say $250,000 to restore the... Man, no. That jail was not built right. And that's why I said the people... We need the people to not be quiet, to go to them goddamn meetings, go to them commissioner meetings, stay on those commissioner necks and ask questions, ask for paperwork. It's time for the community to mobilize, not just sit around and complain, but to mobilize. Stop looking for one individual to come in and do everything for you. No, you have the power. You have the power. Let me go to my good friend. Let me see real quick. Let me go to my good friend, ChatGPT right now. See where I'm at. Go to my good friend ChatGPT real quick. Alabama Open Records Act. Let that think. And while that's thinking, just having that conversation. See, this is why I show people what I do and how I do it. The reason why is when you are trying to educate people, when you are truly trying to uplift people, you're not trying to hoard information. You don't want to be the person that everybody have to come to. You empower people with information. You empower people with information. Right? Now, let's go over the Alabama Open Record Act so everybody can understand it. The Alabama Open Record Act, often called Alabama Public Records Law, is the set of state laws that lets the public inspect and get copies of many government records. This is the core rule. Every citizen has a right to inspect and take a copy of public records unless another law makes that record confidential or exempt. Now let's go to what the law says. Now, this is what I do. This goes and tell you what the actual law says. It's 13 pages. You can go in and read it for yourself, right? And what counts as citizens? Since the 2024 update, citizens is defined as a person permanently domiciled in Alabama. You can ask for a reasonable proof like an Alabama driver's license or voting registration. So what that means is they can ask you to prove that you are a resident of the state of Alabama. That's all you can show. I'm a resident. And I know he can't, I know he can't stand that I'm about to be an Alabama resident. I'm coming there with my license, with my birth certificate and everything. So you can see that I was born in Alabama. That I joined the Army in Alabama, retired back in the great state of Alabama. So you might well just let your clerk know that Robert, little private pal Robert Shepard is coming and asking for all documentation, sir. All documentations. And guess what? You ain't got a choice but to give it. My boy. Before I go on, Miss Florence said, I was determined to see it to the end after I found out Albert Fitzgerald Turner was trying to have his father's name put on the gym. It just wasn't going to happen. Wow. I, Florence Parker, is so proud of submitting that application to the school board and superintendents, Dr. Smiley. The community was glad to sign the petition. Greater Good members, Murray, Pam, Ed, and myself, and my cousins, Mary, Lucy, and my husband, Joe. It took us about 5 days to make it happen. And on yesterday, Albert Fitzgerald Turner walked out when I was talking, totally disrespectful. But I bet the gym is named the Woody Jackson Sports Arena. Thank God he only only have a plaque inside the wall. The post office name was not changed. It will always be the post office. And listen, thank you, Miss Parker. Thank you for that. Because it was shared with me. Albert got mad yesterday at this man celebration and walked out while Miss Parker was talking. Childish behavior. Childish. 62 years old. Childish behavior. Having a goddamn tantrum and walking out. Man, please, let me get back to this. Right? And let's go to the Alabama legislation that talked about that's the same one. So, all right. What is public record? Courts interpreted public writing records broadly. Basically, records reasonable, necessary to document public business so citizens can know how government is doing. Also, Alabama law defines public records in a broad way. Records received by public officers while conducting public business. Right? Standard requests under 8 staff hours. They must acknowledge your request within 10 days, 10 working days. That's 2 weeks. They give a substantial response within 15 days after the acknowledgement. Allow 15 business days increments. So as you see, 25 working days is roughly 5 weeks. 5 weeks is a month. About a little bit over a month. That's what they get to reply back to you with the information that you requested. That's what we need the community to do right there. Once we start getting those records and we start aligning them up with the money, because y'all know I got the information about the money and the COVID money, that's the evidence right there. And I'm telling you, that's what he's scared of. Because see, nobody ever brought that. Everybody just talk about what they heard. No, we got proof, my boy. My boy. And then they get them, we get people with subpoena power and they start getting them records and start doing a forensic analysis and start looking at those transactions. Yeah, my boy. Looking at them 41 different bank accounts. Yeah, my boy. And they start looking at social security numbers and start looking at business ID numbers and EINs and all that stuff. My boy. See, when people think that they are so smart, they think that they are untouchable. Y'all know that song we used to sing in church? Reach out and touch somebody's hand. But we're going to reach out and touch this evidence. Then we're going to submit to the agencies so they can investigate and then come those charges because it is too late. Man, let me stop. But I tell you, ain't nothing to worry about if you ain't did nothing. Tell you that right now. Ain't nothing to worry about if you haven't done anything. And this is another thing. My allergies been crazy. But you can resign, but your resignation doesn't stop you from being held accountable to any laws broken while you're in office. The statute of limitation, I think, is 5 years for fraud. Right? And this is for the commissioners. I want the commissioners to know that being a governing body, you can be held liable too for any misappropriation. They go back and look at them voting records. I'm just saying, man, like the community needs to understand that you are not powerless. That is why I've been committed for the last 100+ days to speak truth to power, to remind the community, to encourage the community on what right looks like. I don't care about distractions. Distractions is not going to stop the truth. Not one time have I been refuted with any factual information. Only thing I've gotten is insults. I've gotten name calling, and I've gotten rumors spreaded about me. Right? They even talking about deceased family members that ain't got nothing to do with what I'm talking about. That's the level of desperation. As y'all have seen, y'all don't see nothing being posted by Albert. Y'all think I'm lying? When the last time he posted? Last thing he been posting is he posted endorsements, things that he's saying people endorsing. But all this stuff where he talked about money and all this, you ain't heard not a peep. Not heard not nothing. I wonder why. And I not only that I wonder why, but I want to share this with you guys before our eyes get off today. And I shared this last night. It's very important to understand that being held accountable, that being held to a standard you agreed to is not punishment, but it is accountability. When these elected officials raised their hands, took their oath of office, when they signed up for it, when they paid their qualification fee, they agreed to being held to the standard. Ain't nothing that I've said, ain't nothing that I talked about has been against what the actual standard is. Nothing above the standard, but that's what the standard is. Right? It's time for the community to start requesting those open records. Start requesting those records. Start requesting those contracts. Hey, I need the contract to that did the COVID updates on in 2021. I need the contract to who did the retrofit the jail that they said they was doing, putting cameras up there and all that stuff. See, all of that stuff. All of that stuff. See, that's what they fearful of. See, politicians don't care about you arguing. They don't care about what you're posting on social media. What they fear is they fear for the community being informed of what rights actually look like, and they fear being held accountable with their own words that somebody's showing the community that what they said was a lie. Because as you see, the at the national level, it's certain politicians that get up there and lie and say they didn't say something, and they got video and just go back. You know why? Because their supporters are so blind that they just gonna believe whatever. For me, I don't give a flip what political party you lined up with. All can get that work. The standard is the standard. The standard is the standard. And yeah, that's it, man. That's it. I'm excited about coming home. But I will continue to advocate on behalf of the people and just keep providing more information. Keep providing more information. And again, if I had lied or provided any misinformation, please provide me with credible, from a credible source, proof that I have, and I will come back on and say that I was wrong. But I have yet, in the 100+ days, not one time been provided any credible evidence that what I've said, what I've put out, has been a lie or wrong by Albert Turner or those that support him. Not one time. Not one. And I really hope that they would do it. Right? Your silence is not, I'm not going anywhere, my boy. I'm not going anywhere, my boy. There's so many lies, so many mistruths out there. I got years of stuff to talk about. Years. I ain't running out. Clip ain't empty. Clip ain't empty. All right. And, you know, everybody want to act like they stand on business. But I want y'all to watch who been quiet. Who been quiet. Watch who been quiet. And then when the chips fall, just watch. I just want y'all to pay attention. Just watch. Watch how vocal people get. Watch how people tunes change. When accountability comes. Watch. Just watch. Just watch. You guys have a blessed day. Talk to you later.